Hey everybody. Well, another day that the world is under a hostile attack and assault. Russia's making his move, and via our current administration here in the United States of America. And, I think back, again, I excused myself out of politics nearly all my life. And for different religious-y reasons and things. So, but anyways, from what I've learned, today, I would have, why did we let Russia take any of Ukraine's stuff? We could have just gathered around the bully and said no, no. And then if they tried, I guess we'd see what happens. But if you want something more, if you want to expand in the world, then behave better in it. That would be my advice. I'm just one individual. All that I say in every video is just a concept from my head, and I only know what I know. And if I found out I'm wrong on something, I'll change it, but I'll be able to explain why. I'm not going to flip which side of a war that we, as decent human beings, should be on. Yep. It's upsetting what I just, what's happened today is, Trump and crew had Zelenski in, and I think he's a hero. When you see him, and you go through what they've gone through, it'll bring you to your own personal zero. You come to your own ground zero, and one statement in there when later on, I'll come back to the beginning, but later on Trump says to Zelensky, you don't have the cards. You don't have the cards. You're not the one holding the cards, or something like that. And Zelensky's, I'm not playing card games. Again, I mentioned how we would have these examples, and this would be an example of a really, everybody needs to come to the idea that our mind is just as important as our bodies. If someone's struggling or this or that, due to whatever reason. Hopefully people don't take on that old Yaldabaoth energy that got written up, and but some have it, and get enabled enough to live on that way. But anyways, I hope everyone can see what's happening. There was a good example as you watched Donald and JD berate him and talk over him and tell him how it'd be, ask him, there's times my dad would get mad and he'd be the only one talking, and then, what do you got to say for yourself? As soon as your mouth opens, you don't want to hear one word. So it's that mentality that is on display with Trump and J.D. Vance and a whole lot of them. I hope everyone sees that, and it's, yeah, the demons were... Someone living at zero triggers people when they're up to manipulation and things that are the opposite of what they stand for. Switching to a Nazi stance is not, hard to hide after a while if you're actually gonna flip the nation into that. All right? And I hope people can see it. I know they do. It's just a matter. But if I can't swim after 40 days and my mind is crushed by the crashing waves, lift me, lift me up when I'm drowning. Lift me up, you keep me from drowning again. Vessels of clay, clay vessels. Remember that one from the past. And it has everything has different perspectives, now. Once you learn more, perspectives change. If you was to look at Donald Trump and Zelensky and the proximity as Donald would touch him and shove him a little and use a angry, hateful, demon-like voice, Yaldabaoth, and all the archetypes that are manipulative all the way to kill ya. Because between the lines, that's what it sounded like too. Mafia people, they'll understand that. I know what that means. Yeah. Yeah, it's really something. But you get to see one who resides. I'm here for the good of my people and myself and the land we lived on in peace until the bully next door came aboard again and caused all this death and mayhem, stole their children. And put yourself in Zelensky's shoes and let them people yell at him like that. What a great man he was, not to, but he's 10 times, maybe 1,000 times the men of you turds that were talking to him that way. That's what I feel. There's a hero when I look inside his heart. You can recognize. Feels like he's my brother, you know what I mean? So, and speaking of that, it's just funny. I mentioned a night or two ago that I watched The Source, Caitlin Collins and Mike Johnson. I think that's who it is, Johnson. I just really don't pay. I'm limited myself. I don't care. I am what I am. And if you zoom your eyes just enough to where I want to see very clearly both faces together while each talks. And what I watched, and not Caitlin, I mean, she resides in her god or goddess energy, she's got it that way. No, whatever. A lot of people do. And when as soon as he manipulated the next part of the question and went on, you could see that it just looked like this guy, he's just lying to God, and you could see it. And she didn't show it. She does a beautiful neutral job of moderating. That's why I call them heroes. And but just the micro looking at that, look at that and see what I mean. It just looks like somebody's lying to God. And I see that in most all the shows because telling you, this is a great example of a problem that I think is in this administration, and it's part of the teachings that can be a little mistaught because they were combobulated together in a way that weren't meant to go together, like the outer Beth energy and those of in union. For I'm in union with you and you're in union with me, we're in union with our source. But yeah, USA, we've got a Nazism problem right at the top. Yeah, lock 'em up. Oh, lock 'em up. My need to ache and shake and rattle and roll. Ache and shake and rattle and roll. My need to ache and shake and rattle. And there's no reason for people. Look at the mode of our president in the news in the room right now compared to what we had just so many weeks back, a couple months back, year or two back. We were on the mend from the last one. Lots of people we had big government just working on his lawlessness. The men of lawlessness, sons of perdition. Turns out to be the Old Testament God of the Bible, out of Beth, but if that bothers you, I can't help it. Look into it or take what resonates that you can. And I'm not saying anything ever to hurt people necessarily. Until they are hurting others, then, yeah. God's got to do what God's got to do, right? Ooh. Ache and shake and rattle and roll. Ache and shake and rattle and roll. My need to ache and shake. Yeah, this was hard to watch. I hope that people see, just see what's happening. Anyhow. Yeah, I think it's time for impeachment, How could it not be? And lock them up. Anyhow, somehow all these sackless ones that went along with it, maybe some of them will realize right now and see if there's any redemption left for any of them. And in the means of their careers, and at least. Well, I don't know. Crazy. There's really a lot, but there's a lot of people saying things, and it's hard to watch it all, so I'm going to keep it short, and I appreciate some of you. Have a good one.